Hi everybody, it's Caroline here. Welcome to my channel and welcome to the Traci Reed Design Team YouTube Hop for the new February collection, Smitten. And that is the collection that I've got in front of me here and I love it. So this is the first project that I'm putting together with this collection, and I'm using a full page photo on the left hand side of my daughter, and I have added some elements from the digital kit. That black heart there, up there on the left hand side, is actually a white gesso heart in the kit, and I've just changed that to black to match her jumper, and I've also added the sparkly border along the bottom. I've pulled out some pieces that I think I may want to use for this project already from the die cut sticker sheet, and I think I'm going to be layering up onto the digital elements that I've already printed off on my photo, just for some added dimension and to bring things all together. Now I want to use that 3x4 journal card that's got a door written on it, and I also love the Sweetheart card, which I'm going to layer some embellishments up on top of. But at this point I'm not sure whether I'm going to do a pocket page, which is what I'm kind of mocking out here with some of the elements, or whether I'm going to do a more tactile textured scrapbook page with pattern papers and for it to live outside of the page protector. So I'm going to test out the two different options. I've tried what that might look like with as a pocket page, and now I'm just going to really mock out what it would look like with a background pattern paper and some holes punched into it. I really like the way that this looks, so I've decided that I am going to go with this. I know I wanted to use that love as part of the title. This photo is Alora testing out the natural look, and at the moment she's loving wearing less makeup and just going with the natural look and natural hair, and that is definitely something that I want to capture in her story album. It's great when a 16-year-old is really happy with the way they look, so I definitely want to remember this so that she can look back on it in years to come. At this point I've got a couple of options. I could actually extend the width of that right hand page by adding in a border strip, or I could trim down that Sweetheart card so that they fit onto that traveller's notebook style piece of paper on the right hand side, and that is what I'm going to do in the end. I know that I may want to add in some sequins. There's some fantastic sequins in the digital kit, which I kind of trialled those out on my photo, but I decided that I had some sequins, so I thought I may add those into this project as some additional embellishments at the end. I'm just showing you there that actually, even though the colour of the V there is actually a green in the collection, my blue sequins match it really, really well, so I would use those rather than the green. I've got more of a spring green, and this is more of a mint green here. I want to make sure before I add too many layers on the bottom of this page on the right hand side that I've got space for my title. I know that I want natural to be in quite a big font. I pulled over those gorgeous sparkly alphas that I've got, but they're just that little bit too big and I don't have all the letters that I want. So instead I'm going to use a chipboard alpha that I have underneath to spell out the word natural, and then I will use some really tiny thin white stickers to spell out the rest of the title. First though, I need to spell out that word natural, and I thought that I had all of the letters. Then as I start to pop the letters down, I discover that I don't have an R, so I easily make one of those out of a B, and I didn't have a U either, but I managed to make one of those as well. So it's one of the things that I like to do. If I don't have the correct letters, I do like to go in and modify the letters that I've got to make sure I make the best use of my stash. Next then, I'm moving back over onto the left hand side because it's quite simple to finish this page off. I know I want to add some word phrase stickers and a few small embellishments to the gesso heart up on the left hand side and the bottom right hand side on that sparkly border strip. So that's what I'm going to do first, just to add some additional embellishments, some extra texture onto this side, and then this photo will be complete. It's actually sized at 6x8 because this is following on from a story in Alora's album where I've already got a page protector in place. So rather than working outside of the page protector, this one will be getting slipped into that page protector. When I've finished with these embellishment clusters over on the left, I will move over onto the right and start building the bottom layers there with the adore journal card and that Sweetheart journal card. Now I've decided, as you've seen, I've already punched my holes there on the right hand side, so I'm just trimming a little tiny touch off the journal card but keeping it pretty much at a 3x4 size. But I am going to reduce the size of the Sweetheart card quite significantly, and I'm actually going to turn that into a flag banner shape, so that it's much smaller, it fits there nicely, and it becomes more of an embellishment than a journal card or a title piece. Laying that down on the page, I think that I want to add in a few extra bits of colour. I want to bring in those colours from that gorgeous Love title piece that I've got at the top there, all of the colours from the collection. So I've brought in one of my favourite papers, which is that stripe, and I've layering that up underneath. When I work with this as a printable collection, I actually print out all of the papers first, but that stripe I printed out 2 or 3 sheets of that one straight away because I knew that I was going to want to use that on lots and lots of layouts. I really like it when a paper brings in the full range of colours from a collection. It makes it the most versatile piece of paper for me in that collection because I can just use it on any number of projects. It helps to bring kind of a really cohesive look to a page, especially when you're working inside the page protector or outside the page protector. It really helps to pull everything together, and I love that Traci always includes a gorgeous stripe or a plaid that includes all of the colours. It's really, really helpful. I'm just going to layer a few bits up now, just building on those layers with small pieces of pattern paper. I always keep my scraps, as you can see up there on the left. I've already kept the scraps that I've cut off from around the edge of that Sweetheart journal card. I keep my printables in a little tray, and I keep my scraps unless they're really, really small, and I find that sometimes all it takes is just a small slither of paper that can really, really make a difference. Now, with hybrid and printable collections, you can actually just print off a small piece of paper. You haven't got to print off a whole sheet. If you wanted just an inch strip, say an 1x3" strip of paper, you could just print that piece that size. You could crop it and print it at that size. But when I cut pieces off my larger pieces, I still like to keep the scraps. It's just something in me likes me to keep those scraps as much as I can. Use every element of a collection. Now that I've got that journal card idea down, I've decided that I actually need to bring that stripe in to the bottom right hand side of this right hand page, which is really easy to do. I've just lifted it up. I have torn my background paper a little bit, but it doesn't matter, you can't see that. And I actually like the extra bit of texture that you get from the ruffled up edges on my journal card, so I will go around and actually make that a feature in a moment. I'll turn those edges and just crumple them that little bit so that they stand out, and I love the way that gives a little bit of shadow to the page, a bit of texture. Looks really, really nice. Trimming off that scrap and popping that up on the top left there to keep it for later. Next, I'm working with some smaller pieces, so I'm bringing in the word phrase stickers. I use them on the left-hand side of the spread, so on that left-hand page, but I also want to bring them over onto the right-hand side. I love that Traci includes so many of these with lots of different sentiments in her collections. Really helps you to add to your story, just those small sentiments, but they really, really help to make things that little bit more meaningful, and I can always find something that matches the story that I want to tell. It's really, really fantastic. I hadn't really planned to bring in any twine or ribbon, but now that I've cut that Sweetheart card into a banner or a flag, I've decided that I do need to bring in something so that it's not just kind of sat there in midair. So I'm going to bring in a little bit of baker's twine, which I will pop underneath the Sweetheart banner, but I'll also bring it over into the clusters on the left-hand photo page, just to bring that texture everywhere on the spread. It really, really adds to it. It's a really good colour match. I was really glad that I had this in my stash. And I do like to add in ribbon or twine when I'm working with purely paper printables, because it really, really adds to the dimension of a page. It helps it to look just that little bit special, extra special. A little tip here for what I do when I'm adding twine on, I pop it on a little bit of scrap paper add some tape runner to it and then kind of mush it up. I don't mind my baker's twine looking really rough and just loose on the page, and then I'm just going to staple it with my tiny attacher, pretty much more for effect and for additional texture than the need to hold it on. It's really stuck on there well with that adhesive. One of the final things I like to do on my pages is just add in a really small embellishment into my embellishment clusters, and with this collection, as part of the die cut pack, there were some really small tiny hearts in all of the colours of the collection. I printed them out and then sent them through my die cut machine, so I didn't have to fussy cut them, really small. I've got them just saved in a little pile up on my desk, and I've added in some of my liquid adhesive, scattering them across the page, and I'm just using my tweezers once that adhesive started to set, popping them on the top, and that's going to start the kind of scattering of some kind of confetti into these embellishment clusters. Just helps them to have, again, that added texture, that added interest, and I love to add extra details onto my pages. It just helps things to look really pretty, especially when you're doing a feminine page like this with my gorgeous daughter. I really like to add in all of the things, all of the hearts, all of the colours. It just makes my heart really happy. The very last thing are just a few little drops of Nuvo drops scattered around in those areas, just for the final touch of embellishment and then different texture once again. And then I will be adding my journaling onto that journaling card on the right hand side off camera and popping this into the album overnight once those Nuvo drops have had plenty of time to dry. I've learned from my mistakes in the past and they need a good amount of time to dry. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this. I hope I've given you a little bit of inspiration, and I hope you're enjoying the hop. There are still plenty of places to go to from the team to get lots of different inspiration for different styles of scrapbooking and memory keeping using this fantastic collection. I've already created a few other pages already with it and created some videos, so you'll be seeing those coming soon. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here. If you like it, please hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you soon. Bye.